mean, we get to change it up, see how these players change their style. We are starting to notice again, we say it time and time again, that these end circles, those goo walls will not protect you at all. They're good for the early game, they're good for team fights, but unless you're in a solidified house, like we saw that JOKO 97 were, they're really not going to save you. So you have to be so careful about your rotation. And we even saw there for 4Life, you can't rotate too early because then everybody's eyes on you. You have to find that right moment when everybody else is going, find your way to kind of worm your way in or mirror them, go right behind them, kind of sandwich them between another team, find that way to make it in. Because if you don't, we saw, I mean, it's a difference of getting 7th place and getting 2nd.
Yeah, you want to be smooth with it. You never want to be that team, Llama, that everybody recognizes, says, hey, they're making the right play, and we should be doing that play. Because then all the focus is on you. And everybody's going to be trying to remove you from making the right play so that they can take your spot. And that is exactly what 4Life did. Although they were making the right plays, they just did it a little bit too early. And that's just something that these competitors need to keep in their mind, that on top of you wanting to take that space, on top of you wanting to rotate, everybody else wants to rotate at the same time. So you don't want to give up on something way too early, like we saw 4Life there, just giving up that space for Thunder God to kind of restabilize themselves, fight for the teams that are trying to contend them, and then draw their attention towards 4Life. It's just, you kind of leave that little bit of a, I guess, chasm in play that allows for Thunder Squad to just recollect themselves and dominate you. So I think it's just something to realize that although you're making the right play, you got to think about how all other teams want to make that exact same play, and you don't want to do it too early.
Definitely do not, but we are hopping off here, off into the second map of the day. It is going to be a lot of fun for sure, and I'm excited to get out to it. Obviously, for the teams, we get this nice little point scoreboard here again. It is only the second game here, but you got to imagine, Seymour, that if you don't pick up some good points here, you're gonna probably be wanting a little bit more in the back half.
So let's see what they got for the back half, Llama. Already a first blood. Ooh. Oh, we just started. We literally just tuned in. And what do you mean there's already a first blood? So let's go take a look at who is going to be on the victim side. It's Rebels. Oh, no. Rebels on the brink of being eliminated once again. Right away, the goo walls go down. So do these Rebel players. Miracle just continuing to collect these kills. And you can see that one of the members for Rebels is nowhere to be seen. So although you lose out on that one member, everything is A-okay. They're big chillin'.
Yeah, they are chilling enough, but I mean, for Rebels, we really want to see them perform. Right now, JOKO 97 as well in an early fight. They're taking a win as well. Really nobody yet to drop on their side. So good stuff, and they have a res beacon there in case things do go down, unfortunately. But it's just really an unfortunate scenario like we've talked about Rebels before. We want them to succeed, but they've been in a couple of these qualifiers. They haven't really found their footing, but maybe today is their day.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. For sure, today could be their day. We're looking over towards VIP Egypt, who also didn't have the end that they were hoping to. Got caught a little bit lacking at one point, but nice footwork here from Elmas, just finessing this kill. You're going to find that knocked as well. So lovely from Elmas to show a little bit of finesse there to lock down that equalizer here into this 3 versus 3 now. But Elmas, we're going to fully finish off yet another one. 4Life going to be on the other side of this one. The high ground going to be shot at now from Mozzie. Some nice shots there onto one of these 4Life members. But there's, what, 4 teams that I see living here right now, Llama? This is going to be absolutely chaotic.
Yeah, the map can't even handle the colors. It is an absolute rainbow right now as VIP actually in a 1v1. Elmas able to take them down. So lovely stuff. Even as 2 players, they're finding a way to do it. And 4Life actually, after that 7th place finish in that last game, will be the first team to fall here today in the second game.
Definitely from hot to cold, right into towards Bermuda. They're going to be frustrated with that one, Llama, and they're going to be sitting... Yeah. Watching all these members play out this game and wondering what went wrong, what could have been a little bit better. But for everybody else, this is a great opportunity to start putting some points on the board where you were not able to do that in the last section. So here we get to swap over to some more action. Trapmano's going to get knocked down. Blood Brothers in a little bit of a tough spot, but with 6 eliminations, they're able to weather the storm, and they have been nothing but ruthless in the central drop.
Yeah, they've been taking names, they've been taking eliminations, and they've been taking some points as well. Oh, Fire is going to get found out. Their final player on Fire falling down as well. So the champions DZ will be able to pick up a higher placement for themselves and those 2 eliminations. They got 2 players left alive and hopefully can hit that res and get all their players back going. But you talked about Blood Brothers. They dropped really early off in that first game. So for them to really pick up some early eliminations, I feel like has to be a confidence booster in this game too.
Yeah, they only had 1 point at the end of game number 1, so already getting 6 points, Llama. I'd say that's, what, 6 times better than what you were able to do back on Purgatory. So here we see JOKO 97, our reigning champions, the Booyah from game 1, looking to, again, just cut down some more members on the map. And that wasn't a full elimination, but that was a member who I'm sure just was able to revive some of the fallen teammates. JOKO 97 off of 25 points in game 1, already looking to put 4 more on with these 4 eliminations.
Yeah, some huge early points for them. Again, keeping on going off those early fights. And again, JOKO Force, one of those teams that we talked about in that last game that is camping around those res beacons. They're not letting teams reset for free. They don't care if you lost a member or up to 3. They are not going to let you go and get them off of their landing POI. So I love that decision. We will see RO here try to battle back here. There's another squad in the area, it does look like. So got to be a little bit careful. Don't want to run off into them, but I don't know if they're full members here. It does look like they have 4. I don't know if the other squad is, though.
Yeah, I only see 3 dots on the map. We're going to be able to take a aerial point of view of of Bermuda right now is what we're going to be looking at. Yes. And it does look like Brasilia is going to be home to, 2 full teams, as Royalty is already down to 3 members. Somebody gets knocked. So that's a very unfortunate start to this fight where whoever they're walking into, it's X5 that they're walking into. Now looking to capitalize off of this one. Somebody's fighting for the high ground. A couple trades back and forth. X5 going to be brought down to 3 as well, as Caro now can get picked up, but X5 still looking to put some pressure down. Nitro around the wall. 2 members knocked now for Royalty, and X5 with an advantage. They spot the player inside the building, not able to connect with a couple of shots, but a triple kill you see from a full revive from Champions DZ brings that team back to full HP, and Nitro going to be able to full eliminate another member here from Royalty. We're knocked down to 2.
Yeah, X5 doing a good job at least playing this fight patiently after losing their first, and it looks like, Ronan is going to be dropped as well, so it looks like just 1 member of Royalty, and unfortunately at this point, there is no really escape route. You see that player of X5 up on the hill, so this is really smart positional play, and Royalty are going to be eliminated. X5 turning that fight from a 3v4 into a 3v0.
It might be 12th place. It's a little bit of an upgrade from game number 1, but it's still 0 points. Couple of eliminations, I'm sure, for Royalty, but they're still going to be stuck towards the bottom side of this scoreboard as we're hopping on over to VALD Esports with 0 eliminations and 2 members knocked. Top Esports also on the run, but they're going to be able to pivot this one, see if they can fight back with the numbers advantage. On the run is going to be one of these members. Top Stars just trying to stay alive, but they're down to 1 member. Polka in a bad spot. Dunked on now, low HP, and Top Stars from 3rd place all the way down to 11th place. Big changes here inside of game number 2. Oh, it's Rebels' turn to run in.
Yeah, Rebels are running in. They're going to get this 3rd party here very quickly. Like you mentioned, Top Star is going to be wiped out. VALD going to be wiped out as well. The 3rd party comes in clutch here. And just, it was so easy. That fight was so hardly contested, but maybe a 4th party is in the area.
I mean, wherever there's gunfights, wherever there's shots on the map, I'm sure these teams are keeping their ears wide open and listening for this one. So Rebels getting walked on by Miracle now, as Sierra LS is now going to turn this corner, see if you can fight this first off. Nice dash round to the right. Looking to take some different sights on this one, but he's kind of out in the open. A nade's going to land. Miracle finds 2 kills here. And a trade's going to come out. The revive to bring him back to full strength. Goo Wall, another member knocked for Rebels. This could be it for the Rebels team here. Miracle looking for their 4th elimination in the fight. 1 member left for Rebels. Is he here, as he already left? It's hard to really tell, but it looks like he's trying to run away. And he does. He brings his whole team back. Wow.
gets the full res there. I believe bought him back at the vending machine. That's the power of building up those credits all game long. Does get even a trade back here as the finish will come on through. So Miracle will actually lose one of their players, but they will get the down in return. So both teams at the end of the fight are left with 3. That easy res will come on through for Miracle, and they're up to 5 eliminations. So a good little fight from them, and Miracle have shown that they can worm their way in towards those later zones. They can survive with the low mana players, and they're already in top 10 this time.
Oh, Champion DZ, another full revive on your team. They are just nonstop trying to do what Miracle did last game. But again, we saw Miracle, they're not able to finish off Rebels. So Rebels just continue to stay alive inside the game. You know, that's something we saw from Miracles on Purgatory that is continuing to be a factor. And this one is they're just not able to finish off these fights cleanly, and they're losing members and not able to fully eliminate other teams. So something that just needs to be worked on as the day continues. We're looking over towards Nakaba Esports now. 2 eliminations stuck in the circle. Same with Champions DZ, although they have 4 eliminations, down to 9 teams. So we're starting to head in towards where that placement points are really going to start to matter.
Yeah, I mean, already in the top 10, so you've already guaranteed yourself at least something. But you mentioned it, there are a lot of placement points on the line. There's also a lot of the zone still up and available. But to mention for this map, there's a lot of water. The campsite where it sometimes usually pools is a lot of flat land as well. So you want to be the first ones there. You want to try and take that space first and possibly take those buildings. And there you go. Look at this next pool. Half of it is going to be straight through that river right in the middle. And then it's going to have some 2 big POIs on both sides.
Yeah, we always end in campsite on Bermuda. I'm telling you, Llama, it's just 3 things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and Bermuda, or sorry, Bermuda ending on campsite. As we see Alpha Esports going to get their first elimination of the map. They have all 4 members inside of the zone and alive with a good amount of heals to bring them back up to full strength, but still sitting on 9 teams, still plenty of action to go before you're really looking to shake up this leaderboard if you're Alpha Esports, because this team at the end of Purgatory, they were only sitting down lower towards 4th place. So they still have a chance to, you know, kind of fight their way up here and see if they can gain some more eliminations.
Yeah, that's the whole goal, is just improve off your previous game and actually using some of their extra view here, not wanting to engage, but I think that this other team does smell them, so a possible 4v3 scenario, they are going to engage absolutely immediately. One of those nano life shields already popped. That invulnerability will be absolutely shredded on through that. Crimson Crash draining HP from the members here. They try to go for that self-revive. I think they got it off, but it's just focus fire time and time again. They are not able to hide it out. And now a 1v4, just don't think you're going to be able to survive it. Self-revive is probably going to be canceled out as well. That should be all she wrote for Blood Brothers in this game.
That's tough, too, because only 2 placement points on top of the eliminations that they had. Blood Brothers had a really good start to map number 2, but it falls to the hands of Alpha Esports, who have no remorse for how good you've been playing throughout this game. They want to be winners in their own right. Talk about success from game number 1. You can't say that word without thinking of Thunder Squad. After 11 eliminations in game 1, 19 points accumulated in a 3rd place finish. They already have 5 elimination points, and they are hunting down Champions DZ on the other side of this hill. You can see Champions DZ, who have been constantly running away from fights all game, doing it yet again just to try to stay alive. It looks like Thunder wants to beat them to the other side of the river. They're going to use a little bit of a jump pad to make it on the other side and see if they can get a leap over this Champions DZ team.
Yeah, I actually really do like that play. Try and beat them towards that zone, try and get there as fast as possible. But a lot of teams trying to get into a small zone. Nagabo will be eliminated here out at 8th place. So teams are starting to pick up a decent amount of those placement points. But it is time for a lot of teams to start to hit that rotation. These later and later zones are just going to hurt if you are not inside of them. So we'll see, again, a large chunk of this next zone. Seymour is just water.
It's just water inside the zone. It is literally split down the middle for the river, and that is going to lead to some kind of awkward positionings for some of these teams moving into it, especially considering there is still 7 teams alive. Rebels, who down in game number 1, 0 points accumulated, 9 eliminations. A quadra kill was just picked up there from one of the members. As you see, a killing spree has been noted. And now with Miracles starting to walk in, a couple teams just trying to find their, space inside of the safe zone, Thunder Squad has been reduced to just 1, and he's sitting inside of the storm. So many members just trying to outlive this damage, trying to find their way in, but it is no way. Thunder Squad still finding success even when they only have 1 member. JOKO 97 get eliminated, and we're gonna get a brand new Booyah in game 2.
Thunder time and time again being the thorn, and JOKO 97's side doesn't let them go back to back here. Unfortunately, like you said, Thunder reduced to 1 member is not going to be feeling super good. I love the position of Alpha here. They're taking the high ground up on the bridge. Rebels team we know was reduced to a duo will be taken down and out as well. So a lot of these teams trying to fight for the little bit of positioning there is, and the Alpha squad, although they aren't in this next zone, they are the closest to it. They have high ground, and Thunder squad going to fall as well. So now teams in the top 4.
Top 4, now top 3 as Champions DZ eliminated as soon as they say that. Rebels now a chance to find some heroics going into game number 2. From 0 to hero, this team just looks like they are on the right path. And some shots over towards Miracles, again, just kind of shutting the storm. Rebels find the Naka to do this. That should be another elimination, bringing them to double digits with the Storms on their back. X5 just waiting on the top side, and both teams just reducing each other to nothing.
Trying to shoot back and forth and trying to lob those nades to fit them perfectly within the goo walls. But Miracle, what a story for them. Not a great game in the first one. Now they are at least in the top 3. They are looking for a team fight that can bring them into the top 2, but already using some of that invulnerability. Have to be a little bit careful as the nades do pop on out. A lot of that healing has to come on through as well because they have already lost TVL. This is not the greatest fight as well with that team of X5, who is reduced to actually a solo. So what? You have a quadra kill. Maybe, just maybe, spraying on literally everybody, but you are down to 1. I feel like you just need to survive. A pentakill there, but X5 are eliminated. Miracle are down to only 1 player left alive. The res is coming through from Alpha. Can this Miracle player clutch up? 1v1 here.
1v1 around. Smoke's gonna go for the res. Not gonna be able to get in time. 3 seconds. Has to play his life to dance around, but it's gonna be Alpha Esports knocked out, eliminated, and a Miracle win in game number 2.
True to their name, they will take the booyah here in game number 2, and what a fantastic 1v3 there at the end. Just isolated the fights time and time again to give them that dub. So many points, and what a bounce back game for them.
Yeah, what a bounce back game for Miracle. And a couple of these teams definitely going to be looking to climb the ranks on this scoreboard when we do get to see it. I mean, Blood Brothers, they had a great start. Unfortunate end to this one. Rebels from 15th place. I imagine we're going to be seeing them climb to maybe even top 5 after the performance that they put on. Alpha Esports with a 2nd place finish. Expect them to also possibly jump top stars, and maybe even Thunder Squad as well. JOKO 97 might not be the best finish, but we saw them being active in a lot of those fights, so still potentially holding on to their, 1st place spot. That's to be determined, but a lot of teams really changing the ranks here in the scoreboard after Bermuda Llama, and that was a fun one to cast.
It was absolutely exciting. It was an absolute banger. And you said it, JOKO Force, I think was the one team I was going to kind of point out was that they didn't take a dub. They didn't get the most eliminations in the world, but they still got some points. They didn't drop out as the first team dropping out. They didn't drop out in that bottom 5. So that's the good news is you don't have to be in the top 5 here. It's not the monthly qualifier. It is only Invitational Qualifier. So a little bit more breathing room for those teams.
Yeah, a little bit of a chance to still qualify your way in towards those monthly finals and have a chance where that 1st place spot really will matter. But that is, for later on in the month. We still have an open qualifier after this one too that we can't forget about. But for this one here, I'm really impressed with a lot of the teams and the way that they kind of turned it around. for Blood Brothers, for Rebels, for Miracle, and even X5 Serpent, who found themselves in top 3 towards the end of that. All teams who last game finished from 9th to 15th spot. And as we look over towards these highlights, we'll be able to kind of really set the stage on what they did. But instead of playing it passive, instead of, trying to play for that placement, we saw them fighting against these teams, doing a good job at sticking together, working their way around these POIs in an advantageous spot, finding some positioning against some teams. And this teamwork really elevated them in game number 2 to be that difference maker that we were wondering, Llama.
Yeah, it all comes down towards that teamwork and who can communicate the best, because it is not obviously a solos game. It is a quad, it is a team game that you have to work together to try and find those ways in the team fight. But, I mean, Miracle, how about their run? We were talking about them really just did not have a good game in game number 1. They were able to bounce back. Their team fight as well, even here, was looking good, was looking clean. They took eliminations when they needed to, and were even able to get those reses to get those players back on top. And I'm actually surprised Miracle took that dub. X5, this position they got from that rotate early up on the hill was really nice, but maybe I guess they just got focused out by those other 2 teams.
Again, it kind of comes down to what we were saying about For Life in game number 1. It's that no matter if you're making the right decision or not, you're going to have so many teams just trying to cut you down on your way to that spot. And it seems like here you see Ronnie, last one alive in their squad, so they made it to the right spot, but they go into the top 3 with only 1 member remaining. So you see, just has to make a hero play to get a little bit extra eliminations towards the end. Honestly, I think he could have stuck behind that wall a little bit longer, just let them tussle and, knock each other down before peeking out. But Ronnie felt like it was his time to shine, peeks out a little bit too early, finishes 3rd place. I'm definitely surprised with X5 just like you are, but it just kind of comes down to recognizing when it's your time to be a part of the action, when it's your time to hold your positioning, fight against these players, and, try not to lose all your members going in towards that end game circle, because in a 1v3v4, it's just not going to be your game.
Yeah, I mean, Ronnie's still able to pick up the pentakill, but I can definitely see it. Like, if you could just let those 2 teams fight, maybe, just maybe, I mean, you can walk out, pull a solo clutch. But, I mean, I can also understand it. Like, you peek out from the goo wall, you see 7 players fighting each other, and you're like, oh, I can take all of them down at once. This will be the sickest clip ever. And then, of course, it never works out. But there's always that thought in the back of your mind.
There's always that chance of just pure glory at the end of something like that, when you're like, okay, they're fighting. Is it my chance? Is my time? Is my time? And, it's easy for us to say sitting behind the camera. When you're in the heat of the moment, it is a completely different thought process. So we'll take a look over towards the scoreboard, and hey, look at that. Miracle gets 27 points at the end of that win. 15 kill points. Alpha Esports with 10 kill points get 19 points. So they're going to be able to both jump up extremely high. And JOKO 97 getting that 16 points, the total points for them. They should still hold on to that 1st place spot when we look at that overall scoreboard at Llama. And I think one thing that we really need to note is Top Star PP with only 3 kill points, finishing off in 11th place. They're going to drop down the board.
Oh, yeah. They are going to plummet, unfortunately, for them. And you're talking about teams like Blood Brothers. You're talking about teams like Rebels that are definitely going to jump up. Let's see the overall scoreboard as JOKO do hold their top position with all of those elimination points at the end of the day. Still sitting at 41. Miracle, Alpha were right there. You mentioned it. Absolute hops for them. They get to jump up, and Thunder Squad will be tied for that 3rd, 4th spot. X5 with those eliminations in that previous game as well. Going to be feeling good, but Top Stars, they're down to 7th.
Yeah, Top Stars down to 7th place. Nagaba Esports into 8th place. Rebels jump up to 9th place, even after the performance that they put on with 9 kill points in that game. With the placements alongside, it only puts them up to 14 total. So only 16 points away from getting in towards that top 4 spot. Blood Brothers, they get the 6 eliminations, but not really any, I guess, placement points to go alongside that. They're going to still be in 12th place. So a lot of work to do for Rebels and Blood Brothers, even after the great game that they had here on Bermuda. But for other teams like X5 Sprint, who gets 12th, who gets in towards 5th place now. That's a big turnaround. Thunder Squad gets knocked down to 4th, too. Alpha Esports now tying them up with 30 total points. And for Bermuda to come in after what we saw in Purgatory, I was a little bit worried that we were maybe going to go into game number 2 and get a little bit of the same, but we get in a completely different environment in game number 2.
Yeah, entirely different and a good change-up for some of these teams. I will say, JOKO 97 is soaking up some of the points at the top of the leaderboard. So for this Invitational Qualifier, again, you're looking for top 8 here. You just have to be in that threshold at the end of the day. And a lot of the teams are very close towards that marker. It's only one good game, a couple of elimination points here or there. And all of a sudden, it's the difference between making it and not making it. And it's kind of unlike some other of those Invitational Qualifiers as well, Seymour, where it's very, very close in there. There's nobody that's out of it yet.
No, nobody's going to be out of it. We still have 3 more games to go, and you saw, even how Miracle was able to go from literally sitting in almost the last place spot in game number 1, now second place inside game number 2. So going to game number 3, really the difference is going to be kind of, are you going to be able to get that booyah? Once you get that booyah, are you going to be able to consistently place inside the top 5, Llama? Because for JOKO 97, now just to qualify after getting a really good game number 1, they have to be consistent, stay in the top 5, and they're smooth sailing into the monthly finals.
Pretty much. Yeah, if you can get also some other top finishes, you can get some extra money in your back pocket as well. But we are hopping on to Alpine, the only time here today for game number 3 that we are going to hop onto Alpine. It is a nice map. It's got that kind of very rough terrain, and it leaves us with some nice, exciting end circles for sure.
So let's drop right in with JOKO 97. I was going to say they only have 1 member, but it might be a UI bug that we're just not seeing the rest of them. You see, Royalty already lost a member, and we just began. They were able to revive him, luckily, but now they have to fight their way out of this one. So you see some fights going on with Royalty. It's X5 contesting them. First blood's going to come down to JOKO 97, actually, who gets that first blood active. VALD's able to revive one of their members already. Rebels in the action. So many players hot dropping on top of each other. They want to win these fights. They want to get early eliminations. But for X5, after game 2 going so well, you're already down to just 1 member.
Ronnie has clutched before. Had the pentakill in the previous game, but will not have it in this one. X5 are eliminated at 15th. A big surprise, I got to say, and even more shakeups coming on towards that leaderboard. I mean, we knew this was going to happen. We've seen Alpine before. It's always very, very exciting at the beginning, slows down in the middle, and then very exciting at the end. But these early team fights are not disappointing, Seymour.
No, not disappointing one bit. And Royalty, from losing their member right off the drop to 4 eliminations, and that is a very, very respectable gunfight that they took for themselves. A little bit of love after that as well, but some action that was going across the board. Rebels had some fights going on. I saw that JOKO 97 had some fights going on. I didn't see anybody else get eliminated. No, we're still up to 14 teams, so nobody else did get fully eliminated. That's really unfortunate for X5 Sprint, who had that 3rd place finish inside game number 2. It's quite similar to what happened to Top Stars. Found themselves in a bad spot on it. Maybe just a little bit of an overheat after their success. They get a little ahead of themselves and they pay with blood. Who is that?
Unfortunate. I don't know. They're out by themselves, I guess, trying to get that extra loot from the package. I mean, I guess not wanting to risk our entire team, maybe, but their full team is going to start to close on in. Not 100% sure who it is, but it's a possible 3v3 because, like we said, that team starting off the game without that 4th player. Don't know if it was a disconnect or whatever happened. For life, a squad that we really want, I feel like, to have a good game here in game number 3. They've looked pretty good throughout the day, but have been in some tough positions.
Some nice shots here from 4Life, but they're getting picked away from behind. That's Thunder Squad. P-God gonna distract him, and that's a knock. P-God's gonna be able to go all the way in, and it looks like Thunder Squad has already found themselves 2 eliminations to start off this game. Talk about consistency.
Yeah, they seem to always be taking these early fights, be able to get themselves in good positions. And Thunder Squad, the 4th place, I believe, after that scoreboard, after game number 2, feeling good for themselves. And they got to get a little bit of a rotate going on. They are kind of near the edge of that safe zone, so they can kind of ring hold or do whatever they do choose at this time. But they're just going to go, I feel like, look for some more loot and look for a place to res their teammate.
which is exactly what 4Life did.
Yeah.
You see, they found themselves a vending machine, and they're just able to sit up in the forest and get kitted up as best as you can. Still up to 14 teams. Nobody else has been eliminated. It has been a very quiet start to Alpine after what was, well, I mean, I say that, and there was just full action for like maybe a nice 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then everything has just gone quiet. Everybody is just showing some respect. You know, this is something that we usually talk about, Llama, going in towards Game 3. This is the turning point for a lot of the teams towards the bottom side of the leaderboard to make their better efforts and see if you can really turn things around. Because after this, you're heading back in towards Purgatory, a game where you already have history in today as not performing very well. So this is kind of it on changing around to go back half.
Yeah, and not talking about going to that consistent map, but it's like you said about changing up your playstyle here just a little bit for some of those teams that maybe were fighting a little bit early, trying to contest and be one of those top teams. Maybe you just pull it back a little bit more, and Topstar is pulling no punches here. They are throwing everything forward. The nades are coming in as well, and again, this is what Alpine is. It's just a flat area at the top of these mountains as well, so a real cover right there for them, just other than some of those tree lines. Those walls will at least help you in a 4v4 fight, but some of the nades going back and forth, and Topstars do have to be careful here. We remember they've dealt with some third-party issues in the past.
Topstars being very cautious on how they want to fight this one after 11th place finish. They're just going to send it. So no worry in the world. They've been able to recollect themselves in the meantime. Miracle's eliminated. So no back-to-back yet again, as Miracle's going to be down in 14th place. Now Topstars looking to take the high ground on this rock. Couple teams around them. What a shot there. Might not be a knock, but it's a lot of damage to back that player off over the hill. It's Royalty on the other side. Topstars looking to eliminate yet another team. And it looks like Goa, Loco, able to find that double kill to reduce this team even more. VIP Egypt also going to be in this one. Alpha Esports also here.
I mean, Top reset in that fight perfectly. Now they're dealing with this third party and winning. Their gunfights are so much better here. They do have to pop a lot of those invulnerabilities and finally going down. So this could all of a sudden turn not their way if they are not careful. That Crimson Crash coming in for that invulnerability for a little bit of time. Trying to go into the back line. The shots are huge, taking one down, but can they finish off these players? It looks like it is a team wipe for Alpha. And how about Topstars? The reset and 7 eliminations picked up.
Yeah, whatever they talked about after losing in 11th place in game number 2, they've already knocked down Miracles as well as Alpha Esports, the 1 and 2 team from Bermuda. So that is a comeback to end all comebacks right now. But talk about a team who we said has been consistent. What's Thunder without a little bit of lightning? And here we go. Thunder just coming out and crashing down on towards these players.
Look at the positioning once again. They're just looking out towards that storm and being able to pressure any squad that is in a rough position. So not only the 4 eliminations, but they are trying to work their way to taking out some of these teams fully, not letting any members survive. And Thunder doing a good job at that. There will be another squad out in the area, but they do have full players. They do have those 4 eliminations, and I feel like at this point they have all the loot they want. For VIP, they are on that res. I believe they'll be able to get all of their players back, which is smart because, again, like we said on Alpine, you want to try and reset because it is going to get exciting here real soon.
4Life down to 2 yet again. Can't catch a break, some of these teams, so
they can't.
Trying to rotate out from this one. You see VIP Egypt were able to revive some of their members. On the hunt will be Thunder Squad. 5 elimination. What's another 2 eliminations? I know they want it, so let's go take a look at something else. Keep an eye on the top right to see if the hunt is successful, and it might just be. So we're going to look back at this one. VSN has been spotted. The wall is going to be dropped down towards the low ground in case Bingo wants to walk a little bit forward onto this one. Just trying to keep 4Life on the edge so far. And the storm has collapsed on towards this one. You do see 4Life just trying to stay in front of this storm, just away from Thunder Squad as best as they can. And, you know, for YSN here, there's no time to sit and wait. He's got to go.
Yeah, you gotta go here very soon. That is going to start really ticking down your HP. I mean, you can see in the bottom, they got enough meds, I feel like, to live for a little bit of time, but you don't want to wait super long. Thunder is going to take some pelting shots as they try to walk in themselves, so maybe an opportunity for Life to escape after putting in some of that damage, but now you might have just drawn Thunder's attention. They did not like that at all, and now they're chasing down for this player.
Yeah, chasing him down as best as they can. You see Champs DZ starting to get some action inside the kill feed too. 12 eliminations, or 12 teams less. Triple kill for Hitman, and here comes Thunder Squad. You do see a quadra kill there for Hitman into the kill feed, but 4 Life get eliminated, and that is another team knockdown. We have been brought to only 11 teams left, as we saw Champions DZ gets the quadra kill, the full revive from JOKO 97. A lot of teams just finding themselves in a good spot now.
Yeah, I mean, Alpine has a lot of buildings, a lot of teams just trying to set themselves up and trying to predict where this next zone is going to go. And especially for some of these teams, it's kind of interesting, the car strategies, because there are kind of 2 thought processes about it. One, it provides cover. Alpine, you need cover on some of the tops of these, mountains and other things. But at the same time, Alpine is a very small map, and over those hills, you can hear that car, the engine going vroom all the way around. So maybe you are giving away your location, but at the same time, it is cover versus giving away that information.
Oh, Joker Force, I saw, or so Joker at 97, I saw we're losing some members inside of the kill feed. You see Champs DZ walking onto Rebels here. Rebels, really good game number 2, but still finding themselves only in 9th place. This is a spot that they don't want to find themselves falling out now from Alpine. So VIP Egypt walking towards the circle with Champions DZ in front of them, as well as Rebels. Nagaba get eliminated. That was by the hands of VALD Esports. So another team looking to get eliminated here. Champs Hitman just trying to stay alive as best they can, but the turnaround for the team, Hitman's able to get a revive, and now Egypt being held behind this storm.
Being held out in not the greatest position in the world. We'll see if they can make the best of it, because you are in the top 10 right now, so you've at least guaranteed yourself a little bit of placement. But the more you can survive, if you can survive for even 30 more seconds, it's possible that you can pick up more points. But Champ, it looks like on this bridge, again, no real cover. The sniper shot connects, and we actually got to get a quick glimpse there of JOKO 97 reduced to 1 player left alive. A quadra kill, I believe, for the squad of top. So doing some good stuff here. VIP is going to put their pressure on down because they hold the inner position. They can just absolutely pelt everything down, and Thunder are in a bad spot here as they have that storm on their backside.
Yeah, this is big for VIP Egypt. 8 eliminations, now looking to add another 3 to that tally. So here they come. Amar's going to find yet another down. You see Top Stars finding some value inside of the feed. Thunder Squad eliminated, and that's VIP Egypt up to 11 eliminations off of that team wipe. A couple things to note, like you said, JOKO 97 down to 1 member, but I want to talk about Champions DZ because Hitman has been doing the most for his team right now. Llama, 5 eliminations. They have 9 in total, and not only that, before going down on that bridge, was able to revive 1 member, so that 1 member still has a chance at bringing the rest back.
That's very true. Has that opportunity to maybe get the full team back, but it is going to get harder and harder as this ring keeps on closing down on in. And again, it is something that can possibly bring some attention to you, but I would much rather have 4 players and some attention on me than 1 player and, be stuck in a building all on my lonesome here. Nonetheless, it's going to be some good positions here. Look at this pool. This is actually a really nice one here, Seymour, as we've got a lot of buildings to work with.
Yeah, a lot of buildings, a lot of cover to allow some coexisting teams to maybe stabilize and reset. But for now, a couple shots for the high ground here from Royalty down towards Top Stars. You saw Top Stars was able to lose a member. JOKO 97 get eliminated, so we're guaranteed a brand new victor at the end of game number 3. On Fire also eliminated. I saw they were getting gate kept by VIP Egypt, so I can only imagine how many eliminations VIP Egypt have.
Yeah, I would have to imagine they were already at double digits. It would be insane. I mean, the biggest kind of point threshold we have seen is 30. If you can hit a 30, you are among some of the best, but we'll see how many they can get just locking in the long range shots with the scopes. Have looted up all game long for this perfect moment, and just laying down the absolute barrage of fire feels pretty good. But at the same time, like we said, everybody is going to have cover here, and this rooftop is nice, but if you start to pressure out on that fire, people might start looking at you.
As Blood Brothers going to be eliminated in 7th place. 6 teams remaining. Royalty still with the high ground, but the circle is closing, so Royalty going to have to move as well. And you see already a couple members are looking to make their way around. So you see VALD's going to be in the safe zone with a couple other teams, I'm guessing. Nothing seen just yet, but I like this rotation from Royalty, using the natural cover of the trains to slowly work your way into a spot to walk inside of the safe zone, and VALD are going to be able to see this one, but it's going to be a train battle, as we did see Top Stars get eliminated. Now another team might be on the brink of following in their footsteps.
Man, this is possibly the greatest pull of all time. It is pulling between a couple of those train cars. This is going to be a fun one for sure, but VALD has to be careful from their backside, because not only are they getting sniper pelted and pushed on forward here, but there's another squad absolutely behind them, so they are going to be the meat in the sandwich, which sounds pretty yummy, but is not the position you want to be in Free Fire.
Yeah, not at all. VIP Egypt still alive. Champs DZ gets knocked out. Royalty still alive. Rebels still alive, and that is going to lead to VALD still being alive. So that's our top 4 left inside of this game. Who's going to walk away with the booyah?
That is the question. I'm excited to see. We still have a couple more zones to go, and a lot of these teams are actually pretty healthy on members, so the team fights are going to be immaculate for sure. There's an opener there as Rebels team, the only squad with a solo, will be taken down. So a 4v4 as VALD is able to pelt some sniper shots, as VIP actually losing so many members super early, getting focused by both of these two teams, and I think they might just be down to almost nobody.
It's the punishment of being the one focused team after so much success from VIP Egypt. This is a big team to knock down, and a chance to deny them of the climb. Nice shot there from Cas7. That's another team, or another member, knocked down from VIP Egypt. A pentakill coming out now on the inside. It looks like they want to fight for the space, for the natural cover of the buildings. The ghoul wall's going to block off one. Idori goes down. Royalty losing some members on the inside now. No eyes in for this one. VALD versus Royalty. This is such a tight contention on the inside of this building, but members still alive, and here comes VIP Egypt.
Oh, what a shot there from Cass. Able to spray down one, but on the other side, VIP battles back, hits the trade, and all of a sudden, VIP may have done irreparable damage towards this fight. Everybody losing players. We started with 12 at the start of that previous ring. Now we are down to 7. VALD, still the healthiest team by far. VIP Egypt down to 1.
Oh,
I believe
no.
our other squad down to 2, but somehow VIP, they are just fighting back. VALD is just getting sprayed completely down. They hit the res, pop the glue walls to try and block off the window, but everybody is losing members.
Royalty now going to be the kill leader here, as VALD looking to make some moves. A couple of players get a knockdown on each side, and looks like VALD only down to 2. VALD's going to get the shot down onto Royalty. Somehow VIP's made into 2nd place. Mozzie's taking a page into the book of JOKO 97 now, using the goo walls to just block him on the inside, but here comes the storm. And that's going to be doing so much damage. And VALD, they know all they have to do is block him inside. This is criminal. He's suffocating in there. He's got no way out.
They put him in the cell. They threw away the key. Mozzie doesn't have enough heals, and VIP Egypt will be taken out. Oh, that, of course, will mean it is going to be the big booyah here for VALD Esports, but that was a really good ending.
That was a crazy ending. The fact that they, Mozzie's like, okay, JOKO 97 did it. Why can't I do it? And then VALD's like, okay, yeah, we watched that. We've seen how that story goes. Let's just block him in there. He can't leave. The circle's pulling towards us. And that circle, at first, the storm doesn't do that much damage. You can live out there. But towards the end, you just saw how much damage it was constantly doing. And as soon as you run out of those meds, it is just irreparable damage towards that member. And VALD Esports with the booyah in Game 3 after Alpine Llama. What a turnaround for that squad.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. A lot of these teams, like we said, every single one of them seem to be competing. Nobody is a slouch here today, and so it's going to keep that leaderboard very close. But, I mean, that was very fun. Before we get into map number 4 and see that scoreboard, though, ladies and gentlemen, we do have to take just a short break. So the Arena Esports Free Fire Invitational will be right back.
Let's do this, Abu Dhabi! 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 this, Abu Dhabi!
Welcome back, everybody, to our Free Fire tournament presented by Arena Esports, powered by Atislap by EN. My name is Seymour. Alongside me is Llama. And Llama, as we're heading in towards the back half now of our tournament, we want to give a big shout out towards our strategic partner, 80 Gaming, as well as our broadcast partner, Playtonia, because none of this would be possible without them. But with all that said and done, we got some highlights to look over. Llama, let's take a look back at Alpine.
Alpine, it's probably my favorite map, I got to say, in all of Free Fire, and it did not disappoint at all. All these teams really battled it out, were able to pick up some points for those that were at the bottom as well. So just some nice highlights to start us off. I mean, top, they were the ones taking that back-to-back team fight, the ability to reset and learn from their mistakes of getting third-partied in those earlier rounds, being able to pick up those early eliminations and taking both of those fight wins, I feel like was pretty huge for their momentum into this game. But we talked about it after that short burst of those early fights. It was a lot of slowness until everything kind of exploded.
Yeah, it's just kind of everything leading up and towards that last end circle that we got. And, you know, it was such a small circle and such a weird spot to have it amongst the train yard that, you know, teams didn't really have anywhere to go. And with that, you know, walking out towards the open, some good high ground here from Royalty to, you know, collect a couple of kills here and there, start to count up their eliminations. Really put Top Stars in a bad spot there. You see right there, 3D hitting a really nice shot onto Top Stars trying to move in. So Top Stars get eliminated, and that brings us in towards our top four, now top three on screen for this one. And, you know, a couple teams I thought definitely were in a really good spot. VALD kind of doing what JOKO 97 did in the Armory back in game one, trapping them inside. But as soon as teams started to contest them inside, they jumped out of the building, finish off the team outside that, and then condense the team inside the building to not being able to exit it. So that was just a really heads-up play from VALD Esports that, you know, amounts to a booyah at the end of Game 3, which also means that we've had 3 different booyah winners at the end of all 3 maps.
Yeah, it definitely means that we're also going to have a leaderboard shakeup. It's not one team that has won a massive portion of these games today. They have been separated between a lot of different teams, and that makes it more exciting for us because it's not just one team up there at 70 points. They're like, oh, okay, that's it. That team's definitely in. That team's going to win it for sure. But it definitely makes the leaderboard a lot closer overall, and it gives us that same feeling that nobody is out of it. These teams like VALD that maybe didn't have a good game number 1 or game number 2, they're starting with a good game number 3, and we talked about that momentum. It can really start to snowball your back half into a really good one.
Yeah, no, and, you know, going into games 4 and 5 is definitely where a lot of teams towards the bottom side of the leaderboard are going to be feeling a little bit of a pressure. You know, the teams towards the top are going to feel a little bit more secure, Llama. And for that, you know, teams in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th can start to, you know, punish a couple of these teams. Maybe, you know, catch them in the early games, make some more hot drops, be a little bit more ambitious at that, because you're not only going to be, you know, trying to, you know, gain points, but at the time you're trying to shut down other teams from getting points at their own. So looking at this one, I mean, you mentioned how, you know, one team hasn't really been dominating. That is for sure the case. And I think something to talk about is how the teams that have found success in past games, in games 2 and 3, you start to see them not finding success. Top Stars in game 2, finish in 11th place. JOKO 97 in game 3, only get 1 point. And yeah, they're going to be able to hold on to their 1st place spot, but look how much the distance has closed from 1st to 2nd place now.
Yeah, it's absolutely so close. And I was also watching teams like Miracle, watching teams like Alpha, who were right up there at 2nd and 3rd after game number 2. You look at them now, 5th and 8th. They have dropped so far down the board here, while teams like VALD, teams like Rebel, teams like Topstar have jumped up and regained those positions. But it's 100% towards your point. This leaderboard is absolutely so close. There's only 14 points, separating 1st place and 8th place, and everybody else, it seems like, in the bottom 5 is still in it as well.
Yeah, everybody in the bottom 5 definitely has a chance at still, overtaking JOKO 97. I think the average we've seen for getting that first place spot has been, north of the 20s. So only being down by about 14 points means that the world is your oyster right now for a lot of these teams going in towards the back half of Free Fire to make it to playoffs. Top 7 is what we're looking at, Llama. So now at that, after seeing the overall scoreboard, this is where a lot of teams from 8th place and beyond really need to double down and try to figure out what play style is going to fit them into making it in towards that playoff spot. So this is what I'd like to say. This is crunch time.
It is. It is crunch time for everybody, and not only those bottom teams. For those top teams, you at least have something nice to look forward to. That, you're going back to 2 maps you've already played on. For JOKO 97, you have a map that you literally already won on that you're playing next. So if you can do really well in that, you possibly can already secure yourself. But if not, I mean, you're talking about those other teams. They're also heating up. Momentum is a massive thing as these bottom teams start to pick it up. As these bottom teams say, maybe they thought at the beginning of the day, okay, we are a bottom team. We placed. We got 0 points at game number 1. We're the worst in the lobby. After game number 2, maybe they won a fight. Maybe they got higher placement. After game number 3, now they're feeling better and better. They're going to start to take more risks as well.
Well, I mean, will those risks pay off? It's just something that I guess we get to sit back and enjoy the ride at this point, because today has been fun for our 3rd invitational qualifier here of our Free Fire Arena Esports tournament powered by Tislat by EN. These tournaments are always very exciting to watch, but today's been a little bit different, having consistent or different winners every single time. Consistent teams not being so consistent means that there is so much opportunity across these 2 maps. So let's hop back in towards Purgatory. We get to take a look. The flight path is straight down to bottom to top, so this is going to be a very blossoming trail of teams heading to their desired point of interest.
Yeah, this could be a fun one. Pretty good flight path like you were mentioning, and I'm looking towards the bottom. Already we've got kind of 5 teams landing down on that peninsula down there. Some early fights down towards Lumber Mill as well, and some other teams trying to just grab some loot and find their fight. Like we said, because things are so close, a lot of these points are going to be contested. A lot of these early points are going to matter just as much as those late points. So excited to see what happens here in the early phases.
Royalty here wasn't able to win out on game number 3. Very close, just short of the marker. Fighting up against Nagaba Esports, who Hercule up on towards the top. He's going to spot somebody. Nice shots there. And that is an early knock. A lot of chaos already happening on Purgatory. Who would have guessed that? I mean, if you were a betting man, I'm sure you'd bet on that all day long. But here we can see Nagaba Esports start off with first blood.
Yeah, they start off really good. They're able to take out the player who actually, I don't think they were able to find a weapon, only had that fist to work with. But look at this, top is reduced to 1 player, and 4 life is on the other side. That is also reduced to 1. They're picking up the res. They're looking for these finishes, but this could be absolute danger here. A 1v1 to eliminate you as the first team to fall. And look at this, the shot through the wall. YSN is taken down so low. 4 life is eliminated, though.
Yeah, 4 life eliminated already, down to 14 teams. How long was it until we got to 12 teams left back in game 1?
Quick.
Maybe like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So, somewhere around that. Not too far out, Llama. So already on pace to maybe even break that, as Rebel is going to be the new kill leader. You see Nagaba. Whoa, a little bit of Leroy Jenkins action. He thought I could just jump right in there, but Nagaba are going to be eliminated down to 13 off of that. And you see Miracles, Thunder Squad, everybody finding a little bit of something around the map so far.
Yeah, everybody finding some early eliminations towards their way. I'm actually surprised Nagaba lost that fight after taking that first elimination, but you know what? Things happen. 3v4 is there, and look at this for Champions DZ. They just jump through the window, try and APers. They only have 2 players left alive, but these fights have to come through, and they really need to win it. They're dropped down to 1 player. Do not want to have an early exit once again. They have one of those double kills, but it might be just down to a 1v1 here, and Champions DZ cannot find a way to secure it. Thunder are the team on the other side of that fight.
Yeah, talk about a team who always was finding themselves in maybe like the top 8 at least, you know, top 5 sometimes for Champions DZ. But in last game, in this game, haven't really been able to put it together anymore. So, you know, whether or not that's maybe Champions DZ slowing down or other teams maybe catching up and improving, it's just, you know, it's a topic in its own right. But, you know, we're down to 12 teams, and it's maybe been like 3 minutes. So it's kind of similar to game number 1 so far.
Yeah, it very, very much is. A lot of those early fights. We're seeing JOKO 97, I think, slow it down a little bit. They had that good, really, game number 1, but I think they've had worse and worse performances from games 2 and 3. So good stuff for them to slow it down a little bit. Teams that are not going to be able to slow it down right now is team working around this res beacon. It is Miracle. We've seen this squad at their highest and at their lowest here, but with 2 teams around them, I feel like they have to be very, very careful, especially with one of those teams on high ground and one of them on the low ground.
Definitely going to be a tough fight to take. Miracle's going to grab this whip and skirt out. Like it. Or, you know, maybe speak a little too soon.
Okay.
They're not really in trouble at all. I mean, there's literally nobody here. There's a team close by, but they're not in any immediate threat so far. So, you know, Miracles don't have to make any rash decisions so far. But you can see that team is moving in on them. So, Miracles, if they don't, you know, if they're not ready for this, they could actually be caught a little lack in here, maybe sidelined from this team walking up. I am not sure who it is, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure as well, but it looks like they'll more or less kind of work their way away from them, not wanting to engage in a fight super early. And I honestly like that play from Miracle, landing at that location, looting up, building up those coins, and going up to that vending machine. I mean, we haven't really talked about it, but getting your desired loadout, Seymour, can be the difference in some of these team fights. Just having that favorite weapon, knowing how the recoil patterns or how it works a little bit better, how much ammo is in exactly in the magazine, just really can make those differences when it comes down to the heat of the moment.
It's time for that moment to be seized by a couple of these teams because, you know, a lot of teams already down and out so early on. You saw that JOKO 97 took quite a big hit at the start of this game. Same with Top Stars, and with them not performing at their best, that leaves so much opportunity for those teams in 8th, 9th, and 10th who are still trying to combat for that placement spot inside of our monthly final, number 3. So, lots of chances right now on Purgatory and Bermuda up next to finish off strong for some of these teams.
There's an opportunity here, but you got to take advantage of it. And the thing we were talking about earlier, where you have some of those extra chances, after this game, it isn't really there. If you're in the bottom, probably 4 or 5, you might have to look towards that open qualifier or even the next set of invitational and open qualifiers in the last month we will have in the next one. So you got to really take advantage of this match and the next one right here if you're still live. And for those other 3 teams, we talked about it, Seymour, that you really got to be discussing your strategies. If you are eliminated right now, you need to be talking how other teams are working around and how you are going to improve on this last match.
It's all about improvement. Let's look at the map and see how they are, where everybody is. Top Stars moving in from the northeast side of the map. You see Thunder Squad from the north over on the left side. I'm sure that is On Fire going to be walking in for that. We see Alpha Esports, who was in pretty much last place on Alpine, second place on Bermuda. Taking some nice shots there. Cross the bridge. Nothing too threatening, though, to that team. Alpha Esports still in this one elimination, and they might be able to get a little bit of advantage on this team below them. So Alpha Esports going to take the high ground, and whoever this is that they're fighting against has to be really, really careful because they are separated all over the place right now. Our Rebels, that's the other team. So that is a huge kill to pick up if you're Alpha.
Yeah, that is massive, and again, they're not trying to let anybody escape, so they're going to definitely pick up this last one as well. You can try and goo wall all you want, but it is a 4v1 with nades in the hands, so Hawks will take a little bit of damage. The teammates will come in for the extra cavalry to make sure they can finish off this elimination, but like we said, it might be a 4v1, but I highly doubt it. The jump around the wall, the Crimson Crash did absolutely clean communicating with the teammates. There is the down. Should be the finish, but obviously Rebels, they did get that other player out, so you know, you trade something for a little bit here, and hopefully Rebels, you can go get that res.
Yeah, hopefully for the Rebels they can restabilize. Lots of explosions out here, and you see VALD, our previous winners, have a great spot over their opponents in this firefight. A couple goo walls separating them. It looks like it's Royalty that they're fighting against. And Royalty's going to look to remove VALD from this top side. But that's going to be easier said than done. Leo with the sight slashes away his opponent. And here comes round number 2. Not going to be able to do it a second time as a beautiful trade from Royalty to reclaim this fight.
Trying
Thunder
to battle
Squad's walking
back.
up on them too.
Yeah, there is another squad in the area. This is, I believe, the fight we had actually at the end of the previous game, but it is going to result in a 1v1. And for both these two teams, I feel like it is just time to leave, time to get out. Reses will come on through up in that top right corner. Lots of teams staying healthy, but VALD is down to 1 player, and this could be another elimination from our top squad early.
That could be a big pickup to grab if you are Thunder Squad. Muha's on the run, but for how long? Because knocking on the door is this very dangerous team that is non-stop in these fights. Thunder Squad with another set of eliminations gets them up to 6, Llama.
Yeah, Thunder Squad, I feel like, has been the only team that we've pointed out that has been super consistent at just taking fights. Yeah, sure, they haven't had that #1 top finish, that booyah just yet, but oh man, look at that fight from Royalty. The 1v1 was absolutely perfect. Jumps around, and we talk about that ability. They use the dash to perfect completion, and you know what that means, Seymour? They get to res all 3 of their teammates.
Yep, brought them back to life. 3 eliminations, and now a chance to expand on that. You can see them falling in close by. A couple teams for Campsite. I mean, are you surprised that we might be ending towards Campsite?
Not at all. Not one bit.
I'm noticing a little bit of a trend every single time that we go to this map. I think that I need to look at the end zone percentages for, you know, what we get over towards Purgatory, because it's always going to be somewhere in the realm of Campsite. Now, Thunder Squad, who we were just hyping up, they have 1 member, Morgan. You might want to hold close to this tree because VIP Egypt are going to be easily shutting that one down. So that is an unfortunate end to Thunder Squad in Game 4, 11th place. But for VIP Egypt, who barely just missed the mark on a victory last game on Alpine, as a big team to shut down.
Yeah, that's a huge team to shut down. I mean, for Thunder, you're still relatively safe. You pick up 6 points as well, but it's not the 20-point finish you would have loved to see. And honestly, I don't even think, Seymour, you need to look up the statistics. I can tell you, it's 100% Campsite all day, every day, nowhere else.
I like that. You're just trying to give me a little... I feel like you're just trying to make me happy here, Llama, with these stats.
It's the truth. That's all it is.
I believe you. I believe you. If it's not in, you know, Campsite, it's at least in, like, you know, 100 Campsite. It's actually a pretty big radius, to be honest, to go by. But we see Rebels going to find some kills there. Alpha Esports stuck in the storm, but nice shots at distance. They're not worried about taking this damage. It's a little bit at a time, a little bit here, a little bit there. But it's really the people on the other side of the river that need to be worried of them. The Wolves here are feeding, and Alpha Esports now on 4 elims.
Already up to the 4 elims here, and I like this play because we've said before, these kind of early storms don't do as much damage. On Fire eliminated there at 10th though, and here look at this, Blood Brothers again surprisingly going to be taken out early in 9th. So again, a lot of kind of switch ups on the leaderboard with some of those good teams falling out early. This squad of Alpha though did get sniped from that high ground after their rotation on in, using some of those walls towards the cover. And one different thing here, Purgatory does have a lot of those trees and natural cover, so you have the sight lines, but I don't know if you can 100% hit the shots.
5 eliminations for VIP Egypt. See, Amar can have 3 of those ones. Lots of success here from some individuals, but they got to turn around. They're getting walked on. Who is that? It's Rebels. Hello. So they're going to turn around, try to fight their way out of this one. Mossy's going to be caught inside the tent. Rebels, the 3 versus 3, 9 eliminations. Can they make it 12? And knockdown is going to be one of the Rebels. Mar is going to be able to take that advantage back. And now inside the Goo Walls, team's just trying to hold on as best as they can. Amar all the way from outside looking in, trying his best from the high ground. Mozzie's able to collect a couple more. A teammate revived and shut down will be Rebels. VIP going to be able to get that one done.
VIP such a good job in the fight. That's going to get them a great position in this next zone, but Miracle is taking on the fight again around Campsite. There is no cover. Everyone is fighting to try and find a place on the outside of this zone, and especially for Royalty, they try to take the fight, but this Storm is starting to tick very heavily, just trading on through. Alpha walks into the building, will get those finishes to get the guaranteed points, and it is a triple kill there for Hawk. So nice stuff there, up to 7 eliminations for Alpha, but look at this, everything is on fire, and so is the action here as all these teams engage.
Egypt still on the prowl. Here comes JOKO 97.
Oh.
Haven't seen them for a while, but welcome to the party. They're going to walk up towards these tents, and VIP Egypt going to have to back down for the second to restabilize his 3 members just trying to live right now. Tough spot for VIP Egypt to be in because Royalty also looking over towards Top Esports at the same exact time. JOKO 97 coming to collect what is rightfully theirs in this fight. 1 member may fall, but 4 eliminations to bring them to 6.
Yeah, JOKO Force, you talked about it. They were quiet up until this point. They were playing a reserved game, but now they hold the sole position on the top of the hill. They should be able to look down on everybody else. It seems like Alpha getting up and active as well, trying to put the hurt on towards Top Stars, who are taking a couple of members of Lost to stir up the fight early. The self-res is going to be denied here. X5, they've been quiet here too, but they are down to 1. Nitro trying to play this as a solo, just pressure on forward, but we said it. JOKO 97 looking to take Purgatory once again. Top Stars are eliminated. Alpha is eliminated. It's a 4v1, and unless something crazy can happen, JOKO 97 should be able to clean this up nice and easy. It's a booyah.
It's another booyah for JOKO 97, and they make it look so clean towards the end. Just out walking in on VIP Egypt, getting rid of their biggest opponents in that whole set, and then everything collapsing all at the exact same time. I feel like things just ended in an instant. I thought there were still like 5 or 6 teams left. They all just collapse all at the exact same time, and JOKO 97, the victor, is going to be able to stand on top of the rest when the dust does settle, and a big win for them to take after, you know, you just noting that they haven't had the best games in the past 2 games. So going back to Purgatory, they just owned this map.
Yeah, they absolutely do. They have staked their claim, and I mean, really smartly, again, they just played their own side of the zone there. They let everybody else fight. You said there was 5 teams, but that was the key word, was because 4 of them were fighting on the same side of the map to try and get onto the zone. So JOKO really just good position. Just let all those teams fight. Just let them do the dirty work, and then they just go clean it up.
Yeah. And a big win for JOKO Force to reclaim their spot, or hold their spot at the top. If, you know, I remember correctly for that one, they were still in first place by a good margin. And yes, they were. So that's going to elevate them even farther. And, you know, where we were kind of spinning up that story at the end of game number 3, going in towards the back half after the break, we're talking about how this is a great opportunity for lots of teams to close that distance from second place to first place. You can forget about that, Llama, because JOKO 97 now, they're going to be comfortably at the top after game number 4. And heading into game 5, it is smooth sailing for this team. We'll see them in the monthly final.
We will probably see them getting some money as well. I mean, they probably have locked down first at this point, have to be feeling good. But at the same time, for all these other teams, it means there's possibly still an open door. It means there's still an opportunity for them to get into that top 7 like we're looking for. And, you know, you cannot stop. There is one final map. You have to bring all the tricks, all the treats. I mean, I know Halloween was just a little bit ago, but you still got to bring something tasty over towards this final game.
Yeah, I mean, trick-or-treating, whatever you want to do for Halloween, and in November, it's going to be a fun game number 5, Llama. I would like to see a couple of these teams maybe upset towards the end, but from what we've been seeing after that last game, I don't know if that's going to be a chance heading back to Bermuda. Let's take a look back at Purgatory on what we were given from the start. It was just fight after fight as another 3 teams get knocked away right off the bat. You know, Champions DZ being one of them, but I think it was also Top Esports who was taking a big hit right at the beginning. Could be mistaken for that, but lots of fights here and there. VALD Esports, this was a big moment for Royalty to get their revenge from Alpine and remove VALD from that spot, eliminate them in a very low position on that scoreboard. Rebels also get eliminated here. This is when VIP were starting to walk forward, and then JOKO 97 coming to clean up the rest. Very fun game from them.
Yeah, they cleaned up their whole backside. They won those fights towards those tents and then just used all the pressure. I mean, you can see on the minimap right there at the end, it was very, very clean from them. A couple of early fallings, though, from, like you said, some teams that had performed well in the previous game. And especially for VALD, I feel like I feel a little bit bad for them because they want to take the fight so badly. They actually won the fight and had a 1v1 at the end, but then they get third partied. It's always the other teams that are listening in. And if you don't finish your fights quick, Seymour, if you're not resetting or getting those heals on in, it is going to be costly. But let's see how costly it was up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, looking at JOKO 97, 21 points, not too shabby for them. They're going to be sitting at a total of 65 after this. Alpha Esports, a second place finish, 17 points. Royalty, 14 points. VIP Egypt, 13. Down the board, we keep going. A couple teams to notice. VALD, like you said, 3 points. Only 3 at the end of that after taking a win in game number 3 on Alpine. Thunder Squad, 6 points. I mean, this team, they were fighting for so many dubs, so many booyahs throughout today. And alongside Purgatory, the second go-around, and Alpine, they're just starting to fall behind. And that's a little bit worrying for this team. But 6 points to take away should still keep them in the top side of this overall scoreboard. And yes, they're going to be in 5th place, but the big talking points is now Rebels have found their way into 4th. From 15th after game 1 to 4th place going into game 5.
That is such a story. And for this Rebel squad as well that didn't have some other good qualifiers, that didn't make it, that has had some slower starts, and now they are in the top 4. One good game, and they could secure themselves. JOKO 97, like we said, far and away from the rest of the pack, but still a pretty close separation here. I mean, I think if anybody other than Blood Esports and lower, I feel like you're still in this game. Even for Blood Esports, I guess you'd have to drop like a 30 bomb and have some bad things happen, but for all these other teams, for VALD, for X5, for Champions, you are like a minimal points away from securing a spot in that playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, for 11th to about 8th place, everything is still up for grabs. When you look above them, VIP Egypt only has 39 points. That is, what, 6 points higher than the 11th place team. And, you know, with, a couple teams getting 20 points for just a win, you could easily find yourself inside of the top 4 in no time, even if you're VALD Esports all the way down to 11. So that is a good shout to make, Llama. It's what we're going to be looking at going into game number 5, as well as, you're heading to game 5. This is a game that we actually saw Miracle win in. So Miracle sitting in 6th place, heading back to their home turf for game 5. Can they do it again, just like JOKO 97 on Purgatory?
I mean, that's the hope. Miracle are anything but comfortable right now, only 4 points away from separation from being eliminated and having to go towards that open qualifier. So I'm hoping they can do it. I think Miracle have had a good day. They've had some good rotations. They've gotten caught in some unlucky scenarios, but are just a really good team overall. But it'll be tough. I think JOKO are going to be riding off some really nice momentum, and JOKO played a really good game plan in that game. We literally saw them pull it back. They didn't go for every single fight. They played it reserved, got into a good position, and just played it perfectly.
Yeah. And that's how, all you can ask, or I guess it's a lot to ask heading into game 5, but it's what you have to ask to these teams, is that it's only perfect from here on out. Heading towards Bermuda for our game number 5. It is going to be a game to remember because, again, Llama, at the start, we talked about the roadmap, how we got here, what, every team has been doing to reach this exact moment. And for a lot of these teams inside of the 3rd qualifier, they have just barely been missing out of the mark, whether it was monthly final 2, monthly final 1, qualifier 1, qualifier 2. It doesn't matter. Heading into the 3rd set of qualifiers, this is where you really want to find yourselves into the playoffs, or else you could be that team that at the end has to make it into the playoffs and then look at every other team that's there and wonder, wow, these guys have already beat me before. What do I do?
Yeah, I mean, what do? You got to get that practice. You got to keep moving on. And like we said, there is only actually 1 more month after this one. Obviously, there is still that open qualifier still this month to get off in towards that monthly final. But we've got 1 more game to finish out the day. I'm excited. And the teams, I bet, are too. If you lose this one, Seymour, there are no more second chances.
Well, here we go. It all ends here. Bermuda, Game 5. One last chance for teams to punch their ticket into the monthly finals for our third month here inside of our Arena Esports tournament powered by Tisland by EN. So let's take a look at the flight path. It's going to be going from the top to bottom. And we'll take a look at a lot of these teams. Our sights are set on 11, 10, 9, and 8. These teams just moments away from making it towards the top 7. Can this be where they turn it around?
That's the question, and that's the hope for them. I'm also looking at the teams that are not in the top 11, the bottom 4 squads, to keep on playing as you've been playing. Go for something crazy here. Go for the practice, because like we said, these are some of the best Free Fire lobbies in the world. So this game can be a difference maker if you're trying out a new strategy and you find something that works. You can take something off of those open qualifiers or future invitational qualifiers. But we are starting here with On Fire, a team that hasn't had the greatest day, but is surrounded by a lot of people here at this hot drop.
Yeah, it's Top Esports going to be here, as well as one other Blood Brothers going to be able to buy that first kill on towards Top Esports. You see a JOKO 97, lots of action around the map as eliminations left, right, and center inside the feed. Hard to track, you know, just who's going to be walking out on top of this one. But Blood Brothers get turned on. Alpha Esports get eliminated in 15th place. That is a huge elimination. And that is going to open up so much opportunity for these teams. On Fire going to be running around trying to stay alive as best as they can alongside Top Esports, as well as Blood Brothers. But who is going to be the one to walk away from this one? It's going to be so close.
Yeah, so very close here. 1v1 comes on through. JN trying to put the bullets on in, but the Crimson Crash also comes down, providing that invulnerability. Blood Brothers, though, unfortunately do fall. On Fire have to be really careful here. Sasuke, only player left alive. We'll have to use that speed boost to try and get out and away. But they are walking, I believe, right into another team. A quadra kill there from X5. And I would like to go back to your point that you mentioned Alpha Esports drop. They were sitting in second, but they only had 47 points. There is a possibility, Seymour, that they don't make it.
I mean, it's everybody on the line except for JOKO 97,
Yeah.
Llama. JOKO 97 is the only team that we will for sure be seeing in the monthly finals right now. So I love that you bring that up. And Alpha Esports, I'm sure they're throwing up a couple Hail Marys right now, hoping that it's their chance to sneak away with a 7th place finish when all is said and done on Bermuda. So that is a huge takeaway for a lot of teams that are trying to make it happen. It looks like somebody is actually walking into a wall. I don't know if that's a connection issue or what was going on, but hopefully it's not a connection issue. We see On Fire revives their team. I think Top Stars also revived their team, so they're going to be able to bring it back. And yeah, I think that player is having some connection issues.
Either that or they're putting on a show. Who knows? They're just like, oh, yeah, sure, I'm having a connection issue over here. And then it's just a bait for them to pull in another team. Not 100% sure, but we will figure that one out. Nonetheless, JOKO 97, the squad that we already said is confirmed for that monthly final, doing good. And I think they're looking to play a slow game here. Again, X5 going to run into a little bit of resistance here on their rotate out. And look at that. Donkey is able to pull that 1v1 with a shotgun, but the trade immediately comes on through. Celtic able to get that trade. Triple kill as well for them. And they'll be able to hit that res very easily.
Yeah, back up to strength there. VALD sitting nice and comfortable over towards the armories. I'm getting a little deja vu whenever I see those armories after what JOKO 97 did back on Purgatory. But looking over towards Miracle, 0 eliminations. Nobody fought against them to start it off. That is a rare sight. I feel like Miracle always finds themselves in fights at the start of these games, but they're taking the safe route this time. And you look at 4Life, down a member, no eliminations. They weren't on the better side of some early hot drops, and everybody, it seems like they're just trying to get comfortable now.
Everybody's slowing it down. Everybody knows this is your last game. This is where a lot of it is going to be decided, especially for Miracle. You did mention that, like, it's not by choice. I feel like they haven't gotten into fights by choice. They just have been running into every single team, or there's been a third party that hears their gunfire and wants to approach as well. So we'll see how they can do. I really do like their story of how they went from pretty much being in last to being in that top spot and then kind of fizzling out a little bit here, but have a good opportunity to finish it off nice and easy. Thunder, another squad that we've been talking about kind of all day long, didn't have a great game number 4, but obviously can have a bounce back here in game 5.
Yeah, this is a team who is on the brink of not making it. Surprisingly, 5th place, 43 points again. You know, 42 points in 6th place, and 39 points in 7th place. So not a lot between them and the teams looking for a chance to qualify. So have to keep our eyes out on Thunder Squad for sure. Rebels, 2 eliminations already in the game. 1 player has been down, but they are relatively safe. There's somebody in Pochnok just kind of surrounding them. I think that's JOKO 97 that is surrounding them, so they have to be a little bit careful on that side. So they're trying to bring their team back, and we head over towards VALD Esports, who are, honestly, they're playing an adventure game right now. I don't actually think they're playing Free Fire right now. They're just playing an adventure game, collecting all the loot, and hoping to complete some side quests on the way.
Yeah, hoping to finish some of the side quests up, gather some resources and some rewards, but on fire, it looks like they're trying to gather some eliminations of their own. JN hits the 1v1, takes the win, and they're sitting right on top of that res beacon, so should be able to get their 4th player. And just as we say that, other player coming on in, the 1v1 once again, JN, the storm, the invulnerability doesn't keep them alive. And it will be 4 life on the other side of this fight. I feel like we're always talking about 4 life and on fire fighting each other.
I feel like it's always like some kind of mention of like, wow, they are just prolonging these fights for so long. No one team is able to cleanly eliminate the other one. And that just kind of leads to some very, I guess, unfortunate stalling from both of these teams. I hate to use the word stalling, but like, they're always fighting each other to the point where somebody has to come third-party them for them to get eliminated. And that is just not a good look for a team who needs some clear wins. And we see JOKO 97 fighting against Top Stars. One's going to get eliminated by Top Stars, and it does seem like the rest of JOKO Force or JOKO 97 should be able to live and revive the rest of the team. So the res comes out, back to full strength. Some eliminations for Top Stars. They had 4 eliminations, it looked like.
Yeah, some early eliminations for them. I actually kind of like that play from JOKO. They send that player out kind of as a bait, as a little bit of an information gatherer to see who's around the area. They do sacrifice themselves, but they know they have the res right there to pick them back up and going. Lots of reses you can see in the top right corner, all coming in at this time, because we know 13 squads left, nobody in the placement points just yet, and a lot slower of a game for a lot of these teams as they try to get back to it. Look at this though, JOKO 97, even though they were able to hit those reses, they're back down to 2 players.
Back down to 2 players and walking in on a couple more. VIP Egypt, 5 eliminations. Around the corner is going to be X5. Oh, this is going to be tough. Dashes right in towards it. The deep end. Nice shots coming out from Almas. And the knock onto Bex was received. Second one for Ronnie, who honestly didn't think they expected VIP Egypt to be in that spot. But the turnaround, the revive came out from the side of X5, or no, I thought it did. The goo wall is going to be melted down. Jock in a little bit of tough spot where he has to dance around these goo walls as best as he can. But X5 get eliminated by VIP Egypt, who now have 8 eliminations. That's incredible.
Wow, that is absolutely crazy, and unfortunately for X5, that probably means Seymour, they just barely are not going to make it. They were one of those teams kind of sitting in that bottom 10 to 11th position, and falling out this early without those placement points really is detrimental. I mean, you try to credit them with the, taking the risk of taking the fight. Maybe you get those 4 elimination points, but really, really unfortunate scenario for them.
Really unfortunate for sure, and for VIP Egypt, I mean, I feel like they're always on the side where they're finding so much success in gunfights and winning out in so many of these squad fights, and then, reaching 8 or even double-digit eliminations. And then here comes the 3rd party, the 4th party, the 5th party, and they just cannot catch a break. So they're doing their best to stay alive, but, their best just doesn't seem like it's enough sometimes. And they need to start worrying about their positioning rather than fighting against all of these teams at the exact same time.
Yeah, and because all these teams are here, you can see the airspace going to get crowded. Those UAVs are going to be used, and honestly, I would not want to be one of these 2 teams or 3 teams or 4 teams or however many are here right now, because it just one thing can go awry, and all of a sudden this game 5, this very important game, can slip right out of your hands. And the long range shots are at least good here. On fire going to be fighting as well. Have to use that invulnerability. They will be back to 3 players, and I think they can hit the res because it was only a 1v1 of the building here, but VIP will still be in the area, not giving up all of that space. And at the same time, on fire, again, health bars are low, but they'll be relatively healthy.
Yeah, VIP with the high ground on fire walking in. This is a great game from On Fire, and how I think that's the first ever time I've said that today. Llama, 7 eliminations from them. Yeah, you know, the health's not the best for this team, but there's still time for them to restabilize, and it looks like they're going to be able to, you know, group together one last time for one more ride. So let's take a look to see if they can finish out strong.
We will see if they can do it. I mean, we talk about they are the squad that started this game in last on the overall leaderboard, and JOKO 97 eliminated in 12th. I don't think it really matters, but I mean, it might be possible actually, Seymour, that somebody overtakes them for first place now.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely going to be a possibility for these teams, but On Fire is going to be traction towards the building. It looks like somebody's walking in on this one. It's Royalty walking in, and an explosion inside the building. Members go down. The spray of the guns just continue to drop. These On Fire players being doused by the extinguisher. That is this Royalty team. 11th place for On Fire. Another team goes down.
Yeah, credit for them on their day. Maybe not what they wanted to happen, but Royalty just getting in the fight, fighting for those jewels and putting on the crown after winning that fight. Doing a good job as well through it. Thunder is going to be sitting on the roof here, playing that high ground angle. YSN from 4Life is taking some eliminations as well through that feed. So we'll see how the push wants to come on through. VALD as well, getting up and healthy. And like we've said, a lot slower game here towards the middle. VIP Egypt, though, it's just going to be eliminated as...
Oh,
wow, I'm surprised they fell that quick.
At the same time, though, I mean, they weren't in the best spot, so it's not really surprising to see them down, but you would hope that with the amount of success they've been finding, they weren't going to go down like that. Royalty getting walked on by Rebels, down already a member. They're now 2. You see that 4Life also be rotating through. Some nice shots from Royalty at distance. A member of 4Life gets knocked inside the storm, might I add, as it is just on the tail end of their rotation. A couple members getting knocked down to the play zone. VALD eliminated. And a quadra from Nagaba. Champs DZ looking to stay alive, but they're going to fall. Rebels team eliminated. Champs DZ eliminated. We are down to 6, Llama.
That is absolutely crazy. You could tell those solos just wanted to earn as many placement points as possible, try and get their team into the top, but yeah, we're down to 6 already, and some teams also a little bit limping in towards this next zone. Still a lot of teams trying to find their spot, and still a lot of buildings actually on the strip there that can find yourself some cover to coexist in, to play with these other teams, but look at these long-range shots absolutely connecting.
Royalty.
They're trying to go for it here. They got it down. They're just going to send it on in here. The goo walls will at least give them some cover. The res will come on through here, but Royalty not going to give up on this fight.
No, they're not. Now they have him surrounded on the inside. Oh, Yuri just wants to dance, and he's going to drop some goo walls, see if he can make it a little bit shaky on the inside. Nice knock there from Yuri, walking on into the building. He says, this is my territory. And on the other side, it doesn't seem like 4Life will be able to get out of this one scotch-free, so they're going to be eliminated in 6th place.
Yeah, those nades were perfect. Found the angle under the goo wall, but we're seeing the rotation here from top. A good game needed from them, and they're already in some good placement points. They also have those 8 eliminations, but you can see the health bars. Only 2 players and both down very low. One of them actually in that down but not out state. So it is all down to 1 player here for Roy. They'll have to try and play this, but I think there's so many teams around you. They're just going to ape. Top star is eliminated, and it's by none other than Thunder.
Yeah, here comes the Thunder. Inside of the small little circle that we have. Inside of the strip. Couple teams remaining. It's down to 4. Thunder, can they finally get a booyah underneath their belt after they've been trying so hard, fighting tooth and nail to reach this moment? Morgan gets knocked. That's Royalty to do the deed, and now they have to put some focus onto getting this revived. Miracles, Royalty, Thunder, as well as one other. It's Nagaba Esports being our top 4.
Yeah, look, Thunder is going to send Bingo in to either grab some information or try to pressure in towards this zone, but they have to be careful of this Miracle solo behind them. Once they clear this out, it's pretty much a 4v4. Thunder does have a little bit of high ground advantage in towards this ring, but they're checking, doing their due diligence before they get into this one. But Lorenz is taken down by a long-range sniper shot to the head. That's going to make them down to 3. They do get the res immediately. Great communication, and now some great nades. A triple res!
Oh.
Miracle just did it!
That's a miracle if I seen one before. And Nagaba knocking on the door of elimination.
Oh.
It's going to be Nagaba down in 4th. Here comes Thunder. Royalty's going to be jumping on top of them. Miracle turning things around. Royalty thought they had the right spot here. We're down to 2. Killing spree for Rory, but here comes the players from Miracle back into it. It is a 3 versus 4. Miracle, their chance for yet another win here on Bermuda. With the height, Iori takes a fight. Nice knock. A second one. It's down to a 2 versus 3. And these players from Miracle, although they dropped back down, it's Royalty's time to shine as they're finishing Game 5 with a booyah.
Miracle taken out at second, and you said it best. Royalty just walk their way on through. They will take the booyah here in game number 5, and big stuff to them, just playing that zone absolutely perfectly, knowing they have the high ground, knowing everybody else was going to be below them, and that means they are going to grab some massive points and probably secure themselves a spot.
Yeah, Miracle, you know, we talked about how they were kind of dancing on the edge of not making it in towards the qualifiers for the monthly finals, being in 6th place. Well, Royalty were on the outside looking in. 38 points, sitting in 8th place. I'm sure that they just cemented themselves inside of the monthly finals with that booyah at the end. They were talking much to each other. I'm sure they were excited, saying, hey, this is our chance. This is all we have to make it into the monthly finals. We don't want to have to do this again next month, so let's do it here and now. And each and every single member stepped up to the plate, fighting against Thunder Squad, fighting against Miracles, fighting against JOKO 97, and everybody else in the lobby. They were not shy of taking those fights, and now they're going to see themselves in a chance to qualify for playoffs.
100%. And they had really good spatial recognition, because if they don't finish those other 2 fights quicker, they give Miracles enough time to loot. Again, when you respawn, you only have, starting fist and that extra pistol that doesn't do the same amount of damage as the weapons you have built up over the entire game. So if they had that extra second to loot Seymour, if those fights weren't as perfect as they would have been, it could have been a different outcome.
At the same time, I mean, you just have to put some respect on Royalty for recognizing, that opportunity that they did have and not allowing that chance for stability from the side of Miracles. I'm excited to see what the scoreboard looks at and excited to see what we have, but I don't know if Prod is trolling me, but I'm just looking at the chat that we do have. It's saying it's a best of 6, not a best of 5. But I didn't hear that one before, so I don't know if that's true or not. But no, he was trolling me at the same time, Llama, and I got fooled.
Oh, I would have been hyped for one more game, and I was excited. Now I'm all sad. I don't know what to do with all these pent-up emotions, man. Prod's ruined my day, but nonetheless, no, it was still a good series, I will say. Some of the teams that, we wanted to perform at the bottom still picked up some good eliminations, still picked up some good placement, and that's what it's all about. Even if you didn't make it today, you still have that open qualifier and still have some more chances down the road.
Yeah, so many more chances for some teams who weren't able to make it. And when we tallied them up, big shout out to our admins for, getting that tally done. Let's look at these highlights from Bermuda. It talks about going into this one, a couple of repeats that we might be looking to see. X5 had a fantastic Bermuda with a 3rd place finish back in game number 2. Miracles with the win back in game 2 look to do it again, and they placed 2nd. But on the road, I mean, so many members, so many stories to talk about with Alpha Esports dropping in 15th place. That opens up some opportunities for teams to maybe overtake that 2nd place spot and possibly even knock Alpha Esports down to 8th with how close it has been. On Fire had a monstrous game with 7 eliminations at one point, just not the placement to back up that points. So I don't expect them to make it in towards those monthly finals off of this Game 5 performance. But Miracle made it far. Royalty comes out with the win. And so much fun pacing of action. I mean, this nade from Royalty was amazing to see.
That was absolutely perfect, picture perfect, on point. The res though, man. The Miracle is just like, okay, we're gonna do it. We have one player left. Like, it's just crazy. Like, I'm surprised like they just didn't get shot out of the sky because they played it perfect. It was the perfect time to do it. Nagaba and Thunder fall here at the end. But like we said, Miracle just could not reset there, could not grab any of the weapons out of those boxes too quickly. So great recognition from Royalty, and even after losing a player, they hold it down, play it as a team, and take that booyah.
Yeah, it's big from Royalty to win that out. As we mentioned, sitting in 8th place, they needed that to cement themselves in a spot for the monthly final for month number 3 here of our Free Fire Tournament, Llama. And as we get a look at the scoreboard, we're going to be able to see exactly how these teams have kind of shaped up after this game number 5. And I'm sure that when I say shake up, I do mean shake up, because some teams who are up at the top, don't expect to see them at the top no longer. Royalty takes the win. 31 points is absurd, by the way. After that, it's Nagaba with only 15.
Yeah, that is nuts. Like we said, anybody that is able to drop 30 points in a game is among some of the best. We've only had it happen a handful of times in all of the matches we have casted as well. So congrats off to Royalty on this one. I mean, look at that though. At the top of the leaderboard, at the end of game number 4, is the people who are at the bottom of the scoreboard here at this one, Alpha and JOKO. It doesn't matter as much for JOKO, but like we were saying for Alpha, it's not only that you're dropping down possibly some placements, but possibly some extra as well. But no way! Royalty take first!
Royalty take the win as your champions today. JOKO Force, I mean, we said they were a sure thing at making it to the monthly finals, but we didn't say it was a sure thing for them to walk away in first place. And with 31 total points, Royalty pass JOKO Force by only 2 with 69 total points. They're going to be our champions for today, and we get to see our top 7. That's going to be seen inside of our monthly finals. Royalty, JOKO 97, Top Stars PP, Miracle, Thunder Squad, Rebels, as well as Alpha Esports. We'll see you later on this month.
And you have to feel for VIP Egypt. They had the same exact amount of score as Alpha, but the tiebreaker comes down to placement points, and that's what is valued a little bit more. So because they had a lot of that stock in those elimination points, they unfortunately will have to wait for another qualifier. You also feel for teams like Champion DZ, X5, and VALD that we were talking about at points like they were the best teams.
I mean, Nagaba walks away with even a 2nd place towards the end there. VALD gets a booyah inside of this tournament. They're not able to qualify. Absolutely insane things that we've seen today for this Free Fire tournament. And yeah, for VIP Egypt, even with 31 kills above Alpha Esports 25, not going to be able to get that 7th place spot because of the placement differential across it. Alpha Esports just valuing making it towards the late game and being able to, make it in towards those end circles, where VIP Egypt, I mean, although they were taking those fights successfully, winning them left, right, and center, I was kind of mentioning it towards game 5, but, really here we get to see what the impact truly is. They're finding themselves in such bad positions where, yes, they're winning their gunfights over and over again. They're winning, the fights against different teams, but with so many teams just walking into them, they're not able to walk away towards those end games, and that ultimately costs them for a monthly final spot.
Ends up costing them just a little bit. I was honestly surprised that I saw Top Stars at 3rd. They seemed like they were having a good day, don't get me wrong, but it seemed like they were quietly gaining points every time they were fighting. They were finishing it very quickly. Every time we jumped to them, they were just already cleaned up the fight and already had some people down. So congrats towards them. They'll be earning that slot in the monthly final. But of course, the job is not done for those teams, for both set of teams. For the teams that earn their spot in the monthly final, now the preparation starts against those better teams and a spot in the playoffs. And for those teams that didn't make it, now the preparation starts for those open qualifiers in the future. Excuse me.
It's just time to do your homework and time to adapt going into those monthly finals. I'm excited to see how that thing's going to shape up. But, I mean, with Royalty taking that win for a championship team, that's going to mean the prize pool breakdown is a little bit different than I expected. I thought we were going to be saying JOKO 97 walks away as our champions, but Royalty walk away and completely change that. So I think that when we're looking here at the prize pool, I'd like to, break in if we can go take a look at that one. It's going to be 1,500 broken down across, what is, I think, 6 placement teams. I know 7 teams make it in towards the monthly finals. We only give away the prize pool to the 6 teams. So, that 7th team is going to have to try again later on down this month, Llama, to see if you can walk away with a little bit of extra cash towards it. But that 1,500 in that first place spot, Royalty walking away with it, that is a big win for them, $500.
Yeah, that is a massive amount of money here for the Free Fire tournament. I mean, you also have to kind of imagine for some of those teams that didn't perform as well. Like, I'm thinking about Alpha. You're talking about a team that was in second place. You were thinking about, okay, $350, it is ours. And then you get that kind of bottom place finish. And then all of a sudden you're dropping down to some Arena Esports points, which are nice, but it's not $500, right? Like, it's not the same exact thing.
No.
And you wish you had a better game to at least secure yourself that.
Yeah, it's not $500 for sure for this one, but I mean, we look at the roadmap, there will be more times to get prize pool for you, and at least if you're walking away in the top 7 for this tournament for our invitational qualifiers, which is highlighted on screen in front of us, with the monthly finals coming up next, you have a chance to do it again, and then you get to go to the playoffs, or you have to go through that 4th monthly qualifier. There's times to get more prizes throughout this. There's a lot of prizes to go around for a lot of these teams, Llama, and this is only the beginning for these teams who have made it to the monthly finals now, who need to look away from the prizes of cash and look to the prize of making it to playoffs. That is your first thought process right now.
Yeah, and if you can make it to playoffs, if you can get yourself to that grand finals, that's where the prize pool starts to go crazy. Like, I think it's like 80,000 USD combined between playoffs and grand finals. So yes, $500 is nice, Seymour, but how about getting that practice, getting that experience to go win in LAN in person and walk away with all of that large sum of money?
I mean, that is the thing that I like to talk about most above all for this tournament, because a lot of these members may have never played on LAN prior to this tournament, and for having this opportunity to do it on such a big stage with such a big prize pool, I mean, you can only imagine how much it's fueling these teams to play at their best. So with that all said and done, with the monthly finals coming up next on stream for Free Fire, it is not all we have to look forward to here for Arena Esports tournament powered by Etisalat by EN. So follow them on all their socials. Make sure you pay attention to what's happening, because there's multiple different esports, multiple different tournaments to watch out for. Dota 2, CS2, PUBG Mobile, and many more. So that's all going to be all for now from myself, Seymour, as well as Llama. We've been a fun day here inside of our Invitationals number 3 for a Free Fire tournament. And I want to give another shout out towards our strategic partner as well, AD Gaming, for helping put this one on. But folks, have a great night, and we will see you next time for some more Arena Esports.
Let's do this, Abu Dhabi! this Abu Dhabi.
I'ma give it everything.
Well, this one is a knocker. Step in on the dance and I does my dance. Everything scatter. Right? Right? Right now, man, active. Down with the game like a bandit. Me bring the flame like a matches. That's me no. Without the slackness, active style and pattern, that's on my deck. Active. Active. One live like massive. Talking up and off the brandish. Touch road and hold the world hostage. When I start the bump up like mash pit. When we step out, those days get active. 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 Now. Clocks on the east side, bad bitch on east side. Big splits chillin' on the beach side. Run things where you feel like. Cake big, have a carve out the peace line. Freestyle now, millions for each line. Too cool when I need ice in my beverage. Test this bigger, please find the exit. Right now, man, active. Gone with the game like a bandit. We bring the flame like a matches. Let's me know. But out the slackness, active style and pattern, that's on my there. Active. 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 One live like massive. Talking up and off the brandish. Touch road and hold the world hostage. When I start the bump up like mash pit. When we step out, those days get active. 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 Active.
Everything you want, but you can't have. Number one regret, no takebacks. The hole in your chest, that's payback. Payback, yeah, you better take that. You could call me selfish, you critical, I could take the blame. Just like I could take a match and send it up in flames. Don't say I didn't want that. This might hurt, but that's just karma. Better take that. Call it payback.